A truly brave man is someone who loves life, cherishing it as a treasure that once forfeited can never be recovered. Musashi. Eli Yoshikawa. I feel like courage in the modern world is often seen as lying in the outskirts of a reckless behavior or in the midst of a stoic passion that's devoid of any emotion. However, I feel like both these viewpoints kind of come across as being empty to me. This isn't inherent to our nature, especially not mine. There's nothing we fantasize more about than a good revenge story. John Wick, a $1 billion movie franchise about a good person going to an extraordinary length just to shit up. We not only find ourselves rooting for him, but we take pleasure in all of his kills through almost 10 hours of runtime through 4 movies. It's awesome, it's gruesome, it's tragic. It's exactly what I would pay money to see. And it's not just me, it's like a $4 billion industry. John is a man with morals that's trapped in an inescapable situation. That's not entirely of his doing, but he's not exactly faultless either. He has a focus and a drive that's like something that we really admire and we really want. But is he truly brave? Based on the quote from earlier, I say no. I don't think courage is the ability to lay down your life without fear. What does he have to live for? What is he actually sacrificing? Isn't justice just a long form of pleasure seeking? Maybe we should still do that, but again, is this brave? What is bravery? He well knew that to live life was more than to just merely survive. The problem was how to imbue his life with meaning, how to ensure that his life would cast a bright ray of light into the future. Musashi. Loving your life and cherishing it would make sacrifices and acts of fearlessness seem so much more real to me. I saw this one video on TikTok of this middle-aged man who was in the courtroom trial of his son's murder. The gentleman who has murdered him was right in front of him. Instead of displaying anger and outrage, what he did was hug him. I don't know why, but this act really moved me. Is this real bravery? At first glance, honestly, it doesn't feel like it. A studio could have made a 2-hour movie with this man beating 200 other people and exacting his revenge. I would have eaten it up. It is a clear difference here. What is it that makes him brave? I feel like there's a clear price people pay for cherishing life in this way. You stand out, you often are singled out as being defenseless. However, I also think this is a way of thinking that brings about the greatest superpower of them all. Clarity. Clarity in mind, clarity in strategy, clarity in effectiveness, clarity in purpose. The bravery I feel when I say phrases like, I don't care, I'll do what I want, I'll die for this thing, feels empowering in a way that's almost dumb. It's just the same as caring for something. It was 8 a.m. in end of August. Pretty sunny. I remember biking through my home. I took the same path as always, followed all the rules as always. I'm alert, I'm ready to go to the gym, I'm ready to squat. I have full focus and energy. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, a car hits me on the right side. My body goes flying, and the car hits me again. I drop to the floor instantly. Suddenly, I wake up in a hospital bed. Pain in my back, bleeding from my arms, shock all over my body. People asking me questions, monitoring me, parents coming at me. I had broken ribs, hemothorax, pneumothorax, scratches everywhere, confusion. No clue what else I had, maybe a brain thing, I don't know. All I know is that I could barely move at all, and I was completely confused. I had zero clarity. I've been doing these lung exercises that these nurses taught me, the one where you suck the whatever. And I remember one of those days looking back at my phone of me just dancing and flipping, and with the machine thingy in my hand, and I just started bawling out. I felt so ashamed and pathetic. I said, fuck it, I don't care. That day I decided to try to stretch to leave my house, and my parents just would not let me. I lashed out. I thought in my head I was being brave. Pain is nothing. I was 23, but I felt like a 12-year-old child. I wanted to feel free from the shame, but all the bravado really brought was a false pride. I was mentally sick, but truly thought I was beyond fear. I thought I was brave. I thought I didn't care, and I thought I was a gangster. Looking back at it, that was not bravery. That was not clarity. That was just delusion. In this mode, I had no plan, no strategy, no peace, no courage. I was truly my own worst enemy. My mind was my enemy. On the other hand, if I wanted to prioritize my life and others, I would look for ways to create the best possible outcome for me. It truly is a utilitarian perspective. Now I'm thinking about effectiveness. From one thing, no 10,000 things. The phrase, I have no enemies, has been trending all over my TikTok For You page. It's kind of amazing to see, but that manosphere kind of prioritizing compassion as kind of being cool now. I wanted to look at the example of farming. Farming brings together a beautiful metaphor. Your plow is your sword, and your sword is your plow. Working in the fields, don't forget about the invasion. Thinking of the invasion, don't forget about the fields. Musashi. One point of his life, the book writes about how Musashi just completely gave up on his quest for swordsmanship and chose to get an apprentice and just farm. The land that he chooses is deemed as being completely washed up and useless, and everyone else is making fun of him for doing some stupid thing. The villagers consider him a fool for even trying. They don't know who he is. But for him, this is a metaphor for swordsmanship. Farm keeps flooding every month. He builds ditches, it breaks. He takes the insult of everyone. He even takes criticism from his own apprentice. Yet he keeps trying. Eventually, he keeps learning from his failures and grows a beautiful plot of land, and everyone respects him. Why do I find this idea so interesting? I feel like it's because in everything there's a way of finding strategy. Musashi wanted to show how conquering one thing could make you conquer 1,000 things at the same time. He wanted to conquer himself so he could conquer everything. And isn't that where courage truly comes from? Being able to conquer your own mind? After those outbursts and emotional strife, I eventually calmed down. I really wanted to just focus on appreciating the small things. I took the time to smell the air. I really looked at the pain in my back and I thanked it. I looked at my body, weak. I lost 10 pounds and said thank you. I thanked my tears. I thanked my parents. I thanked my isolation. Every step I took, I became aware of it. I still get angry all the time. I want to live a life that is gentle, that is peaceful, a life where I'm free. Not just financially free, not just free from my family expectations, but free from my delusions, free from my hatred, and free from my anger. A freedom where my mind is my friend and not just my enemy. I don't really think I've made videos like this ever, where I'm just talking about my own life experiences. I do feel like this free form of talking that I've done is really helpful for the way I organize my thoughts. I hope I could just experience life and talk for a living. So thank you for watching if you did.